In the dark, some of them glowed, not metaphorically. Literally, their hair glowed, their skin glowed. The dust in the seams of their dresses glowed a soft, sickly green, bright enough that their husbands joked they'd never need a nightlight again. They thought it was a gift. A company called it the safest job in America. It was radium. And it was already inside their bones. The year is 1917. In small factory towns across New Jersey, Connecticut, and Illinois, a new industry has taken off, painting glow-in-the-dark numbers onto watch dials, so soldiers in the trenches of World War I can tell time in the dark. The paint is called Undark. Its secret ingredient is radium, the miracle element, sold in tonics, cosmetics, even toothpaste, marketed as pure energy for the body. The work goes to young women, teenagers, some of them straight out of school. It pays nearly triple the wage of a factory floor job, and it's considered clean, respectable, even glamorous. They call themselves the Ghost Girls, because by the end of a shift, radium dust has settled on their skin and clothes, and they glow faintly walking home in the dark. To paint the tiny numerals with any precision, they are taught a technique: lip, dip, paint. Touch the brush tip to your lips to shape a fine point, dip it in the radium paint, paint the dial, lip, dip, paint, hundreds of times a day. Nobody tells them there's anything to fear. Why would there be? The company's own chemists handle the same radium every day. Here is the part almost nobody notices at the time. In the laboratory next door, the men who handle raw radium do it differently. Lead aprons, lead screens, ivory-tipped tongs, never their bare hands. The chemists know exactly what radium can do to a body. The women painting dials 12 feet away are never told. A few years pass, then the pain starts. First it's the jaw and ache that won't go away, teeth that loosen and fall out for no reason. Doctors, baffled, start calling it radium jaw. The women's bones are quietly dissolving from the inside, weakened, fracturing, sometimes crumbling at the slightest touch. One by one, chairs at the painting tables sit empty. The company's answer is almost always the same: it isn't the radium. It couldn't be the radium, must be something else. Bad teeth, bad luck. Syphilis, one company doctor suggests publicly about girls who'd never so much as been kissed. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. Internal company reports already link the illness to radium exposure, and they get locked away. The company's own hired doctor, presented to the women as independent and trustworthy, quietly reports back to management instead of to his patients. For years, the paperwork sits sealed in a drawer while more young women keep lip-pointing their brushes, one dial at a time. It takes women dying, and women willing to fight while dying, to change anything. In New Jersey, 5 of them, led by a former employee named Grace Fryer, spend 2 years finding a lawyer willing to take on a powerful company. In Illinois, a decade later, another group led by Catherine Wolfe Donohue does it again, testifying from a wheelchair, growing weaker with every court date, because she wants it on the record before she can't speak at all. They win. Not everything, no amount of money buys back the years they don't get to live. But they win the right to be believed. Landmark rulings force employers to answer for slow, hidden industrial poisoning, not just sudden accidents. It becomes one of the first times American law admits that a job can kill you quietly over years, and the company can still be made to pay. Their bodies, tragically, become the evidence. Decades of studying the Radium Girls' bones teaches scientists the first real data on how much radiation a human body can safely absorb, numbers that later shape safety rules for nuclear workers, for the Manhattan Project, for every radiation worker who came after. The paint tins are gone now. The factories are gone or repurposed, cleaner, guarded by warnings the Ghost Girls never got. But if you could still find one of those old dials in a drawer somewhere, dust it off, and cut the lights, it would still be glowing.